Well, it's interesting the timing, right? After we just had the depositions of Bill and Hillary Clinton, it kind of opened the door, really the floodgates for other members to say, listen, if the committee's going to spend time, resources, going all the way out to New York to interview former President Clinton, former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, why on earth are we not hearing from people who have active eyes and ears on the Epstein files, who are in control of the flow of information or lack of information in some cases that's coming out? Members of Congress on both sides of the aisle are frustrated with the redactions, with files going up, files being taken down, other media entities doing investigative work, coming up with information that the committee doesn't actually have in real time. So frustration finally reached this boiling point. And you saw yesterday a bipartisan. I mean, this is an incredibly rare thing to have right now in this highly narrow majority that Republicans have. A bipartisan group of members voted to subpoena the Attorney General, blindsiding the chairman, James Comer, at the start of his hearing yesterday, to the point where he had to kind of punt that vote to later in the day to figure out what the real was. And it ended up having 5 Republicans join every congressional Democrat on that committee to vote for Bondi to come and start answering questions. And the key thing here, the most important thing about this is it's a closed-door deposition. It's not a public hearing. She will not be able to grandstand and filibuster the way she did in the Judiciary Committee meeting a few weeks ago. This is a time where you have unlimited amounts of time. There's no 5-minute rule. There's no, I only have a few minutes to get my question in, so you can run out the clock on me. It's a deposition. The Clintons sat for 8 hours last week on tape. She's going to have to do the same thing. So if she decides to just monologue away, bring up extraneous things, fight back against those answering questions, the person there is going to say, okay, that's nice. Answer the question. We got all day.
Yeah, it'd be very interesting to watch as we go forward. Kurt, so you're in Dallas, so we want to talk to you about Texas. In the Texas Republican primary for U.S. Senate, incumbent Senator John Cornyn and Attorney General Ken Paxton are now headed for a runoff on May 26th. And then late yesterday, President Trump, who sat out the early stages of the primary, well, he posted on Truth Social that he will soon endorse one of the two candidates and insisted that whichever candidate he does not endorse must immediately drop out of the race. Thank you for your attention to this matter, the president said. Paxton, however, quickly said that he would not drop out, no matter whom Trump backed. So, Kurt, there's been some reporting that the operation around Trump is really steering him towards Cornyn for the endorsement. That's expected. But talk to us about this dynamic, that especially if, let's say that happens, and Paxton doesn't drop out. Well, that's a 2.5, almost 3-month primary that could get ugly and expensive. Meanwhile, Democrats, this is the best they felt about Texas in a long time.
Yeah, this is the best case scenario really for Democrats. Talarico was declared decisive winner. He has open road ahead of him while Republicans try to figure this out. And if Paxton doesn't get out after Trump endorses Cornyn, it could be a very bruising 12-week period in which Republicans will have to spend their financial resources, time, and oxygen fighting amongst each other while they won't be able to lay a glove on James Talarico. He'll get to spend the next 3 months sailing, doing what he wants to do, having his own message, raising resources and allocating them to benefit him, raising his name ID, running a positive campaign rather than having a Republican just feather and tar him and try to beat him up and down the Lone Star State. It's an open field and open road. That is the ideal scenario if Democrats are going to flip Texas. And you look at the numbers that have come in and the ways in which the Hispanic vote completely abandoned the Republican Party. We're looking at counties in which Republicans, had less votes than Democrats when it came to the Hispanic vote. That's a huge swing from what we saw in 2024.